torrential rain last night, and look at my plants. I hope they survive. Obviously that plastic bag is holding nicely. The others are more or less okay. My lettuce is all drenched too. Better take the water out now. My pepper is getting bigger now.
It usually rains overnight. During the day, it's sunny and warm. Not quite as hot as before though.
In 22. Looks a lot greener now after 2 weeks of rain.
Certainly does.
And it might rain again later. Clouds are building up.
Yep.
It's still hot though, I would think.
Very hot. In the sun it's really good.
Yeah. This is our veggie store here, La Huerta. You just go in and order. Una cabeza de los dos.
Oh, kein Abstand hier. Nobody keeps their distance. Oh yeah. Just buying some broccoli on cauliflower.
¿Son solo los dos? Sí, sí. Prefiero este. Es brócoli también, por favor. Hay otros muy suaves. Ok, está bien. Una piña, listo para mañana.
¿Esa?
Está bien, sí.
Esa está para mañana.
Ya, está bien.
Naranjas.
Sí, las naranjas grandes, 8 por favor.
Hopefully I can carry them.
Mañana zucchini noch, ne?
Zucchini, manzanas.
Manzanas.
Dann so, ja. Was denn?
6 Äpfel?
Ja, 6 Äpfel.
Pero ¿cómo comer ellos? ¿Cocinando?
Toca tostarlas. ¿Estas
Son
las trajo un
las
señor?
princesas, ¿sí?
Las princesas, sí señora, las reinas.
Ah, sí.
¿Quiere hacerles una foto? ¿Le pongo aquí una? Sí,
No, está bien. Vivimos en el campo también. Y hay bastante donde vivimos.
¿Las
You want
han
some
visto salir?
croissants?
Sí. Croissants, ne. Un zucchini verde, por favor.
Verde.
Más pequeño, una pequeña.
Pequeño.
Vamos,
Sí.
está bien. No es suave.
Oh, I have to go back a bit.
¿O más?
¿Hay una otra?
Sí. ¿De pronto este? ¿Ese?
Es mejor.
See.
¿Qué más salen?
We've got, what have we got over here?
Cebollas.
¿Rojas o blancas?
Blancas, 2 por favor. Y como 3 zanahorias.
Zanahorias?
3 zanahorias, por favor.
¿Medianas o pequeñas?
Medianas está bien.
See. God, that's going to be a hell of a lot. Bananas.
Ah, ya.
Plátanos. ¿Listo?
Y una docena de bananas. Muy verdes, ya.
¿Muy verdes?
O verdes.
Yeah, sí.
¿Verdes, pintones?
This is our weekly shopping. Do I have the money? Yeah. This is the hardest part. We have to walk up in town with the heavy backpacks on. Construction is allowed again. Helen has probably about 10 or 12 kilos in her backpack. It's a beautiful time. My hands are shaking a little because it's hot and exhausting. We could take a tuk-tuk, I suppose, but it's part of our sport.
And here comes Kirsten up the next steep bit. I think the moral of this story is that we're going to have to start walking in twice a week because the fruit and veg weigh too much. I think we need to.
It's fruit and vegetables, they weigh tons.
Yeah. Keep going. Don't stop.
No, I can't. Now that I'm rolling, I'm rolling.
Now we've got to go over a wall, up over the hill, and then it's steeply down and then steeply back up. Oh well. Always takes us longer going back than it does coming in.
The town is a killer, but this bit here is the ultimate killer. It's leading to the highest point though. Once we manage to get up this bit here, it's down, down, down for us, which is nice. But it's not easy to walk down either with a heavy backpack. And so far it's still dry enough, although it's raining every night now. But we get some dark clouds from behind, I show you. See? Today it's coming this way. And we better hurry up. This is the tree that we like to sit under. It's on top of Barichara and it's really nice for a rest, but we have no time for that now.
Okay, we're almost there. Well, to the wall at least. And now Kirsten's got to climb over. You done? Okay, now we're on the other side of the wall.
And look how dark it is behind us. There's definitely something coming. This is kind of interesting because that's the first time we have a pool up here. I feel like an indigenous person and I'd like to take a bath in there, but it's not big enough. It's not so easy on the feet either. You really have to watch where you're stepping. At least when we come back, it's a little cooler up here after the shopping. Which is one of the obstacles. It's steeper than it looks actually. And when you're fully loaded, you really have to watch every step so you don't roll down or go ass over tea kettle. Because with a heavy backpack on, if we lose our balance, then it could easily be an accident, which we certainly don't want. Not during Corona times. But Helen is a mountain goat, or she was a mountain goat in her former life, no doubt. Yeah, bad knees. Two old biddies. Helen says I should take a video of this yummy meal.
It looks super.
Fried potatoes with broccoli and cauliflower and chorizo from town. We don't eat a lot of meat.
No.
Actually, we hardly eat any.
But these are really good.
These are really good. So this is a treat for us. I have a light headache. I need something spicy, so go ahead. Yum, yum. Life is good here.
Yeah. Yep. Healthy eating.
Enjoy the meal. Oops. It's raining again. Look how green everything turned. Alan is still out walking. She's probably coming back in a minute.
Whilst our life is really peaceful, there are lots of demonstrations going on in the rest of the world, some of them violent.
Texas, a funeral service had been held for George Floyd. His killing by police in Minneapolis had triggered anti-racism protests around the world. The eulogy from the civil rights leader, Al Sharpton, included an impassioned plea for police reform and racial justice. President Trump chose the same day to promote a conspiracy theory that suggests a man pushed over by police during protests in Buffalo last week was an extremist provocateur. The victim struck his head and is still critically ill. His lawyer says the family are at a loss as to why Mr. Trump made a dark, dangerous and, he says, untrue accusation. There have been more demonstrations triggered by George Floyd's death across the UK. Many protesters turning their attention now to public statues depicting slave owners. At Oxford University, there have been renewed protests in a long-running campaign for Oriel College to remove an image of Cecil Rhodes. Authorities in Delhi are warning that coronavirus infections in the Indian capital could shoot up to more than 500,000 by the end of July. They say the city will need 80,000 hospital beds by then. Delhi's current capacity is just 9,000.
America's top general says accompanying the president to a church and appearing in a photo op near the White House was a mistake. Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said the event created a perception of the military being involved in domestic politics. US stock markets have fallen sharply as investors became less optimistic about the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the American economy. The Dow Jones index closed down by almost 7%. Losses in other indices were almost as big. Stocks suffered their worst day since March. Another of Europe's biggest football league, Spain's La Liga, has restarted 3 months after being suspended because of coronavirus. Matches are being played behind closed doors, but TV viewers can watch it with computer-generated spectators. Brazil has now recorded the second highest number of deaths from COVID-19 of any country. President Jair Bolsonaro has consistently downplayed the severity of the crisis. Some densely populated cities have begun lifting restrictions, even though many Brazilians fear the worst of the epidemic is still to come. There are growing fears in several countries of a possible second wave of COVID-19 infections. Beijing has shut down 6 wholesale food markets after new cases were reported for a second day running. India, which opened up this week, has seen record daily increases in cases. Britain's central bank says it's ready to take action to help the country's economy recover after official figures showed that output shrank by a record 20% in April. The effect of the antivirus lockdown is already bigger than that of the 2008 global financial crisis. Crowds have set fire to a drive-through restaurant in Atlanta, which was close to the scene of the killing of a young black man by police on Friday. The chief of police of the city has resigned. Video appears to show that the man, Rayshard Brooks, had one of the officer's tasers in his hand as he tried to flee. More than 100 people have been arrested in protests in central London, where demonstrators, including far-right activists, clashed with police. The crowd surrounded a statue of Sir Winston Churchill, which was boarded up after it was vandalised during the Black Lives Matter demonstration last weekend. French police have clashed with protesters in several cities where thousands of people demonstrated against racism and allegations of police brutality. Marchers in Paris demanded justice for Adama Traoré, a 24-year-old man killed 4 years ago.
The French President Emmanuel Macron has defended his coronavirus strategy and set out a plan to return France to normal. He said borders would reopen from today to visitors from many other EU countries. India's federal government has announced new plans to deal with the surge in coronavirus as the country struggles to contain its infection rate. India's total number of confirmed cases put it 4th in the world in the pandemic. Thousands of hotel staff in Austria will be regularly tested for COVID-19 this summer to try to reassure tourists that the country is safe to travel to.
President Trump has expressed surprise at a landmark ruling by the US Supreme Court that employers cannot fire workers for being gay or transgender. The expectation had been that more conservative judges might not uphold civil rights law. Last week, the Trump administration removed health insurance protections for transgender people. China has moved to shut down a coronavirus outbreak linked to a massive market in Beijing. More than 100 cases have been confirmed. The World Health Organization has described a new outbreak as a significant event and warned it needs careful tracking.
Stay tuned for more videos.